Hey scrappers, if you're looking to figure out what materials you should sell this week or hold this week, now is the time to do it. Our weekly report is going to give you that information, up-to-date market news, pricing. Let's get right into it and we'll talk about it inside. Hey scrappers, Tom here from the iScrap app and Rockaway Recycling. Today is Wednesday, June 25th, 2025. I am not doing this recorded as I have the last couple of weeks. I'm doing this live, but I'm down in Texas at a consumer company, just checking out, looking at different ways to learn about metals, see things that we can talk about. But we are live, so if you have any pictures, please feel free to ask us. Today's June 25th, and if you haven't already done so, make sure you like and subscribe to our page. So what's going on with these markets? What a crazy week it's been. I can't believe that copper is still close to $5 per pound, and we can kind of lead off with that. I would continue to sell all copper items that you have, because when I look at the markets and the levels that they're at right now, they're really very strong. Strong markets, strong demand, and we've started to see a lot of those tightenings of spreads loosen up a bit as some of these tariff talks have continued. Now, of course, we've had lots of problems in the Middle East, right? We could talk about Iran, Israel. We could jump up to Ukraine and Russia and how those things are going to impact the markets. But some of those things are going to be more on the oil side of things opposed to the metals side of things, because everyone thinks war means a massive amount of scrap. You need scrap when wars are over to rebuild structures. When wars are happening, you don't need the amount of metal, because if you're going into a war and you need stuff, you're probably not in a strong position. So a lot of these countries have their missiles, have their tanks, have their planes, right? And then it would be about feeding the weapons guys to be able to make more of those, but not as much infrastructure, which really uses a strong amount of material. And that's one of the things that I look at when I think of the steel prices right now. Steel prices are continuing to be depressed. Why are steel prices continuing to be depressed? Oil prices are down, even though we saw a quick uptick the other day with Israel attacking Iran. It went up and then went down. All of a sudden, within 48 hours of the U.S. being involved, we saw a ceasefire happen at the same time. So oil prices are down. But where's the demand? What's happening? I think that we're going to start to see those steel prices popping the second half of this year, maybe the fourth quarter, and that's going to be after the tax bill is passed in the next few weeks. What I'm looking for is for commercial companies to be able to immediately depreciate factories, equipment, and building, right? So if they're able to build factories starting later this year or next year and immediately depreciate those on their balance sheets, that's going to give the opportunity for a heck of a lot more commodities like your normal aluminum, copper, brass, steels to be used, opposed to the demand pattern we're in where it's being more used for residential type of items, right? Aluminum could be going into cars, electronics, things like that. And we've seen a super strong demand on aluminum. I'm going to pull up some prices in a couple seconds, but sheet aluminum prices are starting to go up 2 to 3 cents a pound. Higher grades of aluminum, your 60, 63s, your aluminum EC wire, really, really strong markets right now. So when we're looking at some of these, we're saying, okay, well, where are the scrap prices at? Well, scrap prices have held up much better than I would think. And when I look at some of this stuff, I just say to myself, well, where are we going to be going from here? I'm just pulling up some of my notes. Sorry. Again, being on site doesn't allow me to quickly have everything the way that I normally would. But when I look at some of these markets and I look at some of the aluminum demands, I saw prices for EC aluminum. We saw some customers getting close to $1 a pound for stripped aluminum wire. So these are really strong prices. And if you look here, 45-day chart for sheet aluminum, if you look at some of the prices recently, 60 cents, 50 cents, these markets are going to be climbing, especially going into the summer. So I really do expect us to see a much larger increase when it comes to some of these prices, when it comes to some of these different demands. I do see the aluminum markets continuing to fly. When I'm looking at them and looking at some of these base levels, we're really in a strong position. We had a question last week. Virginia, you want to pull that up real quick? It was about aluminum motors. I'd like to answer that while we're talking about aluminum. The question said, I'm finding a bunch of aluminum motors. Should I pile these up and bring them in with my regular aluminum or pull them apart? So a couple of different things to think about. Is it the size of the motor off of a car, or is it off of a lawnmower? right? Because different aluminum grades, you might have a lot more steel in some of these things. When it comes to engines, you have a lot of rivets, bolts, nuts, washers, pieces that are welded on, so it becomes a little difficult. So I would probably save the aluminum engines, motors, and sell them in one shot. I would go to a scrapyard, show them some pictures, email them some pictures ahead of time. But that's how I would do it at Rockaway Recycling. So if you are looking to sell those, I would definitely hold off. But we have had very, very strong aluminum prices. And that's a great thing to be able to capture. The only material that I've told people to hold on to right now has been stainless steel, with nickel prices continuing to be so low, below $15,000 a ton right now. We'd like to see nickel prices more in the $22,000 to $24,000 a ton mark, but there's no demand for it right now. There's people that are out there, they can get it, but outside of aerospace industries needing it to be able to make some parts, you're not seeing a huge demand for nickel right now. So unfortunately, the prices haven't followed suit. Tom, I have a bunch of silver plated copper and a couple pounds of silver plated brass. What should I do with them? So it's a great question. I sell silver plated material for more than scrap, but I only collect maybe 1,000 pounds every 3 or 4 months, and I don't pay a premium for it myself because we don't get a lot of it in. So if you do have silver plated and it's only a few pieces, you should probably just sell it for whatever the material is underneath. Yes, I know there's silver on top of it, but unless you have your own furnace and know how to strip the silver off and are able to save ounces of it, what are we talking about? Grams of silver at 32, $40 an ounce, you're still not talking about enough money. So hopefully that helps you out a little bit. Any other questions, you can keep them coming. When I'm looking at the steel prices right now, we talked about oil, that big run up in oil the other day and then the quick run down. It was a bit of a eye-opening experience because I don't think people realize how delicate the oil space is. We have so many tensions in the Middle East, and even with the Chinese buying so much of the Iranian oil, if we took Iranian oil off the market, if we took these different industries out, right, you're going to have a really hard time moving a lot of these different things. So when we look at the markets, we say, oh, where are the markets going to go? How are we going to move stuff? Well, it's not just about the wars or where things are. These different complications from ships moving, material getting moved in and out, that's going to affect a lot of these prices. So when I look at steel prices that are down essentially 4 out of 6 months this year, and we've seen the market recede even more, oil being so cheap you would think would contribute to it, but I'm looking more at that tax package as more of an indicator. If you look here at our shred price down 16% in the last month and a half, and we're going to see these ticking down more. I saw my prices go down $25 a ton in the last 2 weeks. Here we are in June, and we're just not getting any traction for these steel markets. You're not seeing car sales go crazy. You're not seeing that commercial growth. You see residences going up, but they need wood and paint and PVC pipes. That's not metal. We need heavy industrial investment. So those are going to be things that we're really looking for. Catalytic converters, I'll mention for a couple minutes here. With platinum being so high, a lot of people have been investing in platinum opposed to just gold. Gold has been continuing to hit 52-week highs, but platinum has been one of the metals that has been kind of a rollover metal where people are starting to invest in it a little more. So we're starting to see catalytic converter prices going up, not because of demand for catalytic converters, but because of the supply of the platinum, where investors want these hard metals to put into their portfolios. Well, where are you going to get them from? You're going to get them from refining. We're seeing the catalytic converter prices rising because of that. But who are we to complain about any prices rising for any reason right now? We're very happy with that. As I am with copper prices, guys, $4.89 we're trading at right now. Great prices, really strong prices. I think Rockaway Recycling is paying around $3.80 per pound for Bear Bright. Pat asks, what are you paying for carbide? Anywhere from $6.50 to $11 a pound right now. Lots of different grades, lots of different ranges, Pat. Please check out rrcarbide.com. Fill out one of the sheets. You'll be able to see it. We offer free shipping for carbide scrap. So please check that out. And we have bins that we can send you also to be able to fill that up. But in that 6.5 to 11 pound range is where you're at, all depending on weight, quality, quantities, etc. But I will mention this. We've had lots of videos dropping recently. And I really think that if you tune into these weekly reports to listen to me blabber for 10, 15, 20 minutes, you would get a heck of a lot more from some of the other videos we make, because this helps you week to week. Our other videos on YouTube are going to help you learn things like look at this clip, some of the phrases here. Don't be that guy. Well, you know what that's talking about. That's talking about weird customers, shocking brass mistakes. Here are things that we've learned from that we want to teach you so you know what to do. Starters. Do you resell starters? Do you scrap starters? Lots of really good things on here for you to check out. Some things that you're probably going to disagree with us. Some things you're going to say, wow, I didn't know that existed. But if you comment on those videos, we're going to be able to get a lot of that feedback right back to you, or make another video on it. That's one of the things we do. Our early, people that are popping out there, they get a lot of our early videos. Our YouTube members, they request videos, we make them, and it's not just me. We have 3, 4, 5 people that are making these videos. So let us know so we can get this stuff over to you. But when I'm looking at overall metals right now, I'm looking at how's energy going to react this summer, what's going to happen with the tax bill, and where are people going to be investing their money. So those are the 3 things that I'm going to be watching at: energy prices, tax bill, investments. When we start to learn about those by the end of this summer, by the middle of the third quarter, I'd say September the latest, then you're going to really start to be able to move and see where these markets are going. So scrappers, don't forget, every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern, we like to do our weekly report. If you have questions, let us know. Download the app, use the app to report your prices, learn about prices, check out our YouTube page. We appreciate you tuning in. Any questions that you have, let us know at the bottom of this video so we can answer it. Appreciate you. Until next week, my name is Tom from iScrap App and Rockaway Recycling, and I'll scrap you later.